Hey, it's Fazer from Metro Hobbies and welcome to another unboxing. Today we're going to be looking at the Kyosho Dodge Charger from 1970. Well, the car wasn't made in 1970, the model is 1970 and it looks absolutely fantastic. It's got a big blower here on the front, it's got a couple of really cool features which we'll run through during this video, and of course it's brushless as well, which is something that I know a lot of people have been asking for in these on-road cars from Kyosho. So yeah, let's get this guy out of the way and show you what you get and some of its features. Okay, so once you get everything out of the box, this is what you're going to be greeted with. You get the car fully assembled and ready to go. You get your radio, and of course you get manuals and a few other bits and bobs in here, which we'll go through very quickly. Now, in this bag, we have some bits. We have another set of rotors. Now, these have actually got a bigger offset. So if you change out the wheels to something else, you can actually pop these on and actually bring the width of the wheels out if you are using something a bit different. You got some spare bits and pieces in here, so there's some spare hardware, preload spacers. I think I saw a servo horn in there. Yes, servo horn in there. There's some shock pistons as well, which will allow you to tune the suspension of the car. A lot of cool little additions there that they've included. Also some additional accessories. Now, I'm tipping that this one here might be for one of the features that we'll talk about in this car as we go forward. But there's some hardware and some bits and bobs in here, which I'll probably need to read the manual to see what they're for, but I'm pretty sure it's for the little secret that this guy is hiding in here. Also have a turnbuckle key, which is really nice to have. I've always got one of these in my toolbox. Bind plug in case you need to rebind the radio to the car, and there's also hidden away in here 3 Allen keys. So it looks like a 1.5, a 2 mil, and a 2.5. This should give you pretty much all the tools that you need to work on the vehicle, which is actually really handy. Now, for the manual itself, I know that you know, this is a bit of the boring part, going through the manuals and so forth, but it is important that you do go through some of these so that you familiarize yourself with you know, the vehicle in case you need to service it or maintain it. So in the first one here, optional parts catalog. So you've got some additional parts that you can purchase for this vehicle, and it talks about here it is here. So that extra little plastic piece that I was looking at earlier is actually for the headlights, so we'll allow you to set those up. The car does come with LED light buckets as well, so to talk about installing the LEDs on here, which of course are an optional part. There's optional wheels and tires and things like that. Kyosho also offer different springs, tuning options, optional bodies from some of their other cars if you want to swap out the body for something else later on. All of that information is in there. And now, of course, the actual user manual is here with exploded views, part numbers. You know, you've got things to, like, they do it all in sections. So if you want to service a diff, for example, it'll show you what components need to come out, what screws you need to undo to be able to remove that diff and service it accordingly. You know, the usual stuff about how to use the radio, range, what all the little dials do, all of that type of stuff is in here. So really good information in the user manual. I think Kyosho have actually done a pretty good job there. Now, for the radio itself, this is one that I've showcased here on the channel before. This is pretty much a standard radio with all of the Kyosho vehicles. It's actually a really nice radio. I've used this myself in the Kyosho Mad Van, and it's actually very comfortable to hold. So it's got this rubberized grip on the back, which is actually quite comfortable in the hand, and then it's got this wheel which is not parallel to the actual radio itself. It's on a little bit of an angle, and it makes it really comfortable, so you don't have to like kink your wrist as much as you do with some of the other radios. It makes it really comfortable for you to use this. It just feels very natural because your hands naturally go together like that, not like that. So I think they've actually done this very, very nicely. Now, on the back, there's a whole bunch of dials and so forth. We'll go through these very quickly. We have our throttle trim here, which generally you don't really touch. We have a throttle EPAs for both forward and reverse, which are the 2 bottom dials here. And then we have steering trim, and we've got steering dual rates here as well. There's a couple of reverse switches down the bottom. We've got the on and off switch just here, and of course the whole thing runs on 4 AA's, which is really nice. So really nice radio to use. There is a third button here, which is currently not in use, but of course if you hook up the little folding lights at the front, which we'll talk about soon, that's the button that you'll be using to operate those. Alright, so now for the car itself, as you can see, it's a beautiful model, very well detailed. We've got a blower on here at the front. This is actually functioning as well, so you can actually open it and close it. Now, it is done manually, however, I do believe that you can hook up something to get this operating with your throttle, which I think will work really cool. The wipers are on here. These are kind of fixed. I don't think you can make these operate. It's got a little scale mirror on the side here, although it's only got a little grey sticker on the inside. It's not an actual glass mirror. Even the detail of the fuel cap's really nice down the back here. Of course, you've got tinted windows, so you don't see too much of the inside, which is kind of cool. And then you've got some door handles on there. And the grill, the front grill, this detail at the front is just stunning, as well as the rear lights. It's amazing how much detail and how well presented the car actually is straight out of the box. Now, removing the body pins here very quickly, we'll go through the internals of this body as well, so you can see what it looks like underneath and how these lights actually hook up should you choose to obviously get them. So we'll take this off very quickly, and you'll see here how it's all done inside. So you've got your light buckets mounted up at the front here, and you can see this extra mechanism that's on here. This is so that you can set up a little micro servo to actually have the lights, they kind of fold over the top, so there's like a grill that matches the center grill and folds over the top. Now, we may actually do a video in the future showing you how to do this installation as well, because I'm really keen to do it myself and get it all working, which I think will be fantastic. And then at the back, you can see the LED light buckets on there as well, which look really nice. So the body is actually done, I think from what I can see, is a two-part body. So there are some kind of like little hex screws on the back here, obviously due to the mold and how they did this. They've actually had to screw a little bit back here to do it, so like this bottom part of the body and so forth. Very nicely detailed, very well finished. The body, I think, is part and parcel of the entire package. Now, for the car itself, you can see here it is here. Now, this is very much the same as the brushed cars that you see behind me, which I've done some videos for in the past. Except this one has got a couple of differences. Obviously, you have an extra mount here for the the fake engine, the little charger that sticks out of the bonnet. So they've got an extra piece here to hold that in place. Of course, you also have the brushless system, which is different from the brushed system, which the other cars come with. So this runs a 4,000 kV 3652 motor, a 60 amp ESC, and of course the whole thing hooks up with Dean's. And you can see the kind of burgundy red center drive shaft here, which is the same as in the Kyosho Mad Van VE, which of course allows you to run these guys in brushless. The standard brushed ones actually come with a plastic center drive shaft, which is fine for brushed vehicles, but when you have a brushless one, the RPMs are a lot higher, and you don't want the center drive shaft to be oscillating and carrying on, so they obviously upgraded that to aluminium. Wheels and tires, I think the tires are the same as what you'll find on the other vehicles, but the wheels are a little bit different. These are black, and I do believe that they are actually a different pattern as well compared to the chrome ones that you see behind me. Shocks and suspension and everything else all seems to be fairly standard as per the other vehicles. You got a nice big foam bumper on here, adjustable body posts front and rear, and of course a very nice clean chassis underneath. Now, there are already disc rotors mounted behind the wheels. You've also got little red brake pads on there, little calipers, which add to the realism of the vehicle. The servo is mounted up the front here. You've got a little Velcro strap for your battery tray, and of course a removable foam if you have extra long batteries, or even if you want to change the weight bias of your position of the battery, you can do that as well by moving the battery further forward and putting the foam behind. So you can always play around with that. The only thing I kind of wish that Kyosho would have done with this one is actually given us a slightly bigger diffuser on the back, because the back end of the car kind of sticks out a fair bit, and there's this big void that just seems to be missing behind the vehicle. But aside from that, I really can't fault this car too much. The Kyosho on-road cars, as well as the Mad Van that I also personally own, they've been performing fantastic, and I have no doubt that this one's going to do very well as well, especially in the brushless setup. Now, it does say that these are 2S compatible vehicles. Kyosho don't really brag too much about top speeds or anything like that, but the box does say 65 plus kilometers an hour on 2S, which for a 2S vehicle is actually very respectable. Now, some people, of course, are going to try and run this on 3S, which I believe it can handle, but you do need to be very, very careful that you don't overcook the electrics. These are designed specifically to run on 2-cell. I suppose if you're going to run 3S, maybe just to do some speed runs and leave it at that, and be very careful not to obviously cook the electrics. And that pretty much wraps this one up in a nutshell. The Kyosho Dodge Charger 1970, if I can put the body back on, is an absolutely stunning vehicle with a lot of really cool features, and I can't wait to put a battery in this one and take it out for a spin. So that wraps up another unboxing here at Metro Hobbies. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you did, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button before you go. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out the video description as well down below. We'll have links in there to the car as well as batteries and chargers that you'll need to get for it, because as you can see, those items were not included. That is it from me. Thank you again for watching, and I'll be speaking to you all next time.